And let's start with the data sources, the trusted data sources. As we mentioned before, data is the foundation. Data is absolutely important for the organization way forward. So the AMLA recommended references data for reliable CDDs across the sector. So many institutions still rely on fragmented data, which ultimately is leading into consistencies for example, CDD outcomes. We see increasing regulatory direction of AMLA toward a common reference data and standardization, particularly in some topics like the legal entity identification, ultimate beneficiary owner, sanction pets datasets. And at the end, that means shifting from best effort data aggregation to reliance on verified and standardized sources. Institutions then should start thinking about data sourcing strategy, which sources, how many, who validate them, but also some of the topics like data lineage and auditability, where this information is coming from, who is providing this information, can we prove and trust this information? Because at the end of the day, poor data in the onboarding process will propagate risk across the entire anti-money laundering cycle of the organization. Okay, this is about data, but let's talk also about the holistic gap analysis. So we have collected information and around 80% of the organization lack of the correct data to report correctly to AMLA. And this is the foundation, right? So, and this is a big number. Many organizations accept gaps at a control or a process level, but AMLA required also a data-centric approach. So this number, 80%, reflect some significant issues like missing mandatory data attributes, like, for example, ownership structure, transactional context, or, for example, in the other side, data capturing non-structured format or scattered across systems. Also, lack of data standard definition across different business lines of the organization. And here, the key shift is moving from, do we have the control, to do we have the data to trust and evidence the control? A true holistic gap analysis needs to, firstly, map regulatory requirement and therefore the data fields, system, ownership, but also identify data gaps, quality issues, and transformation needs. This is where many programs underestimate the effort because it's not only one part of the organization involved, it's cross-organization, including IT, compliance, operation, and many other areas of the firms. Last but not least, I'm going to touch on the data export for the FIU data setting. Under the Article 75 and the ATS, institutions will need to submit a structured dataset to the FIUs. This is a step changing from narrative art to standardized templates, matching readable format and consistent data definition. The key challenge and pain point that we are observing here are several, but I will say that probably some of the more relevant are three. One is the data is not currently stored in a way that matches required output structure. The number two is a significant manual intervention, that need to be in place today to compile all these data sets. And last but not least is also limited ability to scale or automate destruction across the system. So here the institutions should already be considering different key topics, like the redesign of the data architecture, and make then the question, can systems support structured outputs? Also define end-to-end data flows, from the onboarding, monitoring, to reporting. And last but not least, the automation of the extraction for this data and the validation. Because the expectation here is not just to be compliant, is to be compliant on time in an accurate way forward.